In a land of pixels and blocks, a land where creepers threaten every family, in the darkest part of that world, a place called the Nether, where lava flows from every dark hole and ravine like blood from the lips of a zombie. The Dark King Spork sat atop his throne, his engineers and blacksmiths hard at work deep within the core of Mount Boom. Bowing, they shuffled before him. In their hands they held something so common it would never be thought of as powerful. The Dark King took the object in his hand. This golden spoon would rule the world. He would use its power to control all of the land of Utensia. One spoon to rule them all. One spoon to destroy everything they thought of value. One spoon. A golden spoon. Unlike any other. Years later. High atop Fadge Mountain, in the northern lands, a young utensil by the name of Sam Spoon was just heading into the dreaded world of the Nether. He dared not venture far, but he was in great need of golden nuggets for his potions. Pushing on his iron armor and strapping his bow to his back, he set out through the portal. Once inside the dark Nether, the young Sam Spoon quietly watched a small war band of pigmen. These beasts were strong, but if caught off guard, he knew he could take them all. Stringing an arrow, he pulled the bowstring back and let the arrow fly with a soft twang. The arrow landed as he had wanted, bringing a pigman to his death. A golden nugget dropped to the blood-red ground. The other three pigmen grunted in surprise and turned to glimpse the killer. Sam took this to his advantage and managed to shove his sword into two of the pigmen. They too dropped golden nuggets as their bodies vanished in a puff of smoke. Turning to kill the last pigman, Sam stumbled. Falling down a few blocks, he caught himself right on the edge of a lava pit. Gasping at the near-death experience he had just had, he started to look for a way back up to the pigmen. At this point, the final pigman came barreling down the cliff edge, intent on revenge, falling straight into the lava pit. Sam frowned, climbed back up to the top, and checked his inventory to see what spoils he had gotten. He'd gained 3 gold nuggets and... Wait, what was this? He looked into the very corner of his bag. A golden spoon rested within the crevice. Pulling the spoon out, he gazed down on it in sheer amazement at its beauty. "What have you got there, boy?" one of the guards asked as Sam pushed his way back into his own world. "Just a spoon I found off some pigman." "Well, that is interesting. Finding a spoon on such a beast." The guard chuckled, not believing the story he'd just been told. "Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, that's for sure." Sam slightly stuttered. Slipping the spoon back into his bag, he grabbed a spot on the train, back to his home atop Fadge Mountain. Sam's 23rd birthday. A year after finding the golden spoon, after having stuck it somewhere that he most likely wouldn't remember, he'd amassed many chests at this point after countless months of building. His single home had become a mountaintop mansion. Catching the minecart train to town, Sam let his mind wander back to when he had less cares in his life. Back when he wasn't the talk of the streets. Today was his 23rd birthday, and he would be celebrating it like any other man, by drinking away half his earnings in the tavern. At least, that was the plan, anyways. The mine train came to a stop, and Sam stepped off, his fingers wrapped around the gold purse in his pocket. He knew when he awoke in the morning with a terrible headache, more than likely, every coin within this bag would be gone. Pushing the thought from his head like any other thought, he stepped into the flooded tavern to cloud his mind with sweet, sweet ale. "You can't do this! It's stupid! Think of the power!" a man in armor screeched. "I have to! If it continues, our world will be destroyed! I can't let them down!" Sam screamed back. "Our world is nothing! You're nothing!" Sam turned and thrust his arm out over the cliff. The golden spoon leapt from his hand with force, falling towards the red-hot lava below. Sam jumped awake. The sun was already high in the sky. He immediately hated himself for jumping awake so suddenly. His head snapped with pain. "Damn it," he muttered. Lumbering his way back down the stairs into the kitchen, he poured a glass of cold milk and closed his eyes, taking a large swallow. A knock on his front door sounded like a house full of TNT exploding all at once. "I'm coming! Hold on!" The Naki continued. Stop that racket, please! His head pleaded more than his words did. He hit the door switch, bringing his door to a gaping hole. What? He looked out, clenching his eyes half shut from the bright of the sun. One of the many city guards stood outside his door. Did you hear anything last night between the hours of 4 a.m. and 8 a.m.? The guard asked, his expression hidden behind an iron helmet. I was passed out upstairs, Sam replied, then quickly added, Why? 14 men were slain at the tavern around that time. Only one witness was left behind, and all he knows is the men were dressed in full black robes. He was told to pass a message to you. A message for me? Sam had caught on to the fact he was clearly a suspect in the murders. Yes, here. The guard held out a piece of paper. Clearly, from the creases on it, the paper had been unfolded many times by many different readers. Sam took the paper and closed the door. Stepping back to the kitchen, he pulled a chair out and plopped down, smoothing out the paper on the wooden table. You have what we seek, Sam Spoon. The golden relic will be ours. We will take it. And your life. Sam took a deep breath. The golden relic? He didn't have anything golden. Then his thoughts went back to the golden spoon he had found almost a year ago. Where had he put it anyways? He rushed up to his storage room, scraping dust from chests he hadn't touched in months, searching for that small golden spoon he had stashed somewhere without a second thought. After stumbling through almost all of his belongings, he came across the one thing he had been looking for. The golden spoon lay awkwardly in the darkest corner of one of his chests. A soft glow emitted from the handle, a glow that he had never noticed before. Cramming his fingers into the corner, he latched them around the handle and pulled the spoon out, eyeing it slightly suspiciously. What would make someone kill for this tiny household utensil? He wasn't sure, but he knew he wanted nothing to do with it. A knock came from downstairs. Jumping at the sound, he dropped the spoon, scooping it up and into his pocket. He rushed downstairs. Grisma was not the tallest fellow in the land of blocks, nor was he the shortest. Standing at roughly 4.5 feet, he was by far the shortest wizard ever to leave the university. Now standing at the door of a complete stranger, twiddling his thumbs at that, he wasn't even sure he had chosen the right profession. But then the young Samuel Spoon, as Grisma had been advised his name was, opened the door, his face slightly full of surprise. Were you expecting someone else? Grisma asked. My death, Sam muttered. No, I wasn't. Wasn't expecting anyone, actually. Grisma could tell he was lying. It was at this point, and this point alone, Grisma was sure he had indeed chosen the right profession. My name is Grisma. He held out his hand. Pack your things. We have a long journey ahead of us. What do you mean? How am I supposed to save the world? Sam was more angry than surprised. He didn't think himself capable of saving the world, not from something like the darkness that he'd just been told was spreading across the land. It sounded dangerous, and Sam didn't see how he, a normal 23-year-old, could possibly be the world's savior from such things. I have no reason to lie to you, Samuel Spoon. You don't have to call me by my whole name. Sam wanted to slap the short man before him. Every time he had spoken of him, he had called him by his full name. It all seemed a bit overdramatic to Sam. I'm sorry, Samuel. Sam. Sam is my name. Just call me Sam. He shook his head. But still, how can I possibly be the hero? I'm just an average guy. Average people are the ones who are the heroes, not the kings and queens of these lands who boast such trophy names. But can't I just live my life out in peace? You would only live a few more days. If that, please, Samuel, we must hurry. We have a long journey to make. Sam sighed, slung a few more items into his bag before turning his back on Grisma. Fine, let's go. Our first stop will be the city of the elves. We will need assistance. That's all I've written so far, guys. The voiceover is not the best. I understand. I did what I could, but our hero Sam Spoon has set off on his journey. But the fact of the matter continues as to whether the journey will continue. I don't want to spend time writing something that nobody finds interesting, especially Sam Spoon, the real Sam Spoon, who has consented to let me write the story, which we kind of co-created in his stream one day. Now, like I said, you guys just let me know in the comments or via Twitter whether I should continue the story, because I definitely will continue it. I have no problem writing. You know, just let me know, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to get to write more stories of Samuel Spoon.